All right, what is up, everybody, and welcome back to Sooner Surge. And today we're going to be talking about, let's call this March recruiting updates, future freaks preview, whatever you're going to call it. And as if you guys know, over the last couple weeks, even today, you've seen the crystal balls. They started to fly in for prospects to Oklahoma. Oklahoma is really starting to ramp up the aggressiveness on the recruiting trail. And let's start this off with new QB commit 2025, Kevin Sperry. As you guys know, he was offered I want to say it was just over a week ago, and he committed maybe 3-4 days later. He was offered on a Wednesday, if I remember correctly, and committed on earlier this week. I want to say like Monday, maybe potentially it was when that was. But I mean, yeah, it's just kind of a guy that whenever he got the OU offer, he kind of knew it was over. Just he loves OU. His dad played linebacker, I believe, at Washington State, if I remember correctly. So he's just got football in his blood, you know. He's a guy that he's going to follow the Brent Venables rule. He's not going to take any visits anywhere other schools. And actually, he's going to be in town this weekend for the Future Freaks Day. And he'll have a really big say on really what's going to happen this weekend. As you know, it's mainly 2025 guys. I think there's close to 100 prospects there. So really, Oklahoma is just kind of trying to feel the waters on 2025 guys. They feel like they're going to be a legit player for. And maybe some guys that they just want to host to get some more familiarity, whether that's with different recruiting, like high schools they just want to build better relationships with, or anything like that. And whenever you get a guy of the caliber of Kevin Sperry, I mean, if you watch his film, he looks way more polished than Jackson Arnold did as a sophomore, and it's not even close. I mean, Kevin Sperry is honestly he probably is about as polished as Michael Hawkins is right now, and that's really high praise. I mean, the kid just does everything well. If I had to have a comparison for him, I mean, I do see a lot of Jackson Arnold. Just he's got that dog mentality and makes the winning plays. He puts his body on the line at points in the game. I think they did play against Denton Geyer this year, and he made an incredible play where he avoided like 3 sacks and he threw an absolute crossbody dime to a receiver. I mean, it's just he's really a special talent. I do expect him to end up a 5-star when this is all said and done. And we can go on to 2024 QB target, or as I would say, it's done. I mean, Michael Hawkins, April 8th. As you know, TCU recently offered, I think his name's Haas, maybe. I don't know if that's his first last name, but he was committed to Duke. TCU offered him. He recently decommitted from Duke. Crystal ball's been flying in for him. So that says all you need to know about Michael Hawkins to you. TCU was kind of thought to be a player, but really as kind of it progressed, it just felt like more and more Hawkins is just leaning more towards OU, especially with them throwing out the offer to Malik Hawkins. And you just saw the praise his mother gave on social media for that. Hawkins is going to commit to OU on April 8th. And I know previously in the last recruiting video I said I expected him to be committed by now, by the end of spring break, which is well past that. But apparently he wanted to have all of his family in town, cousins, you know, all that stuff. And it's around, I believe it's Easter weekend as well. I think he may be committing on Easter, so that makes it even more special. Yeah, kid's going to end up a Sooner. And now the running back room, guys. DeMarco Murray has his pick of the litter right now. You have Tovani Mizell, James Peoples, Xavier Robinson, Caden Durham. I think his name may be Jakarian Gibson. I don't know if that's his name. I don't have it pulled up right now. But basically, he is a 5-star running back prospect who is currently not offered by OU, which I know a lot of people may question, like, if he's a 5-star, why isn't he offered? Well, it's just like you got to trust DeMarco Murray. Like, he knows what a great running back looks like. He was the best in college football at a point. He was one of the best in the NFL at a point. So he knows really what to look for in a running back and how he can take him to the highest level. And even this Gibson kid that's a 5-star, I said, if he got offered by OU's instantly going to be at the top of his list. I mean, he really wants the OU offer, and I don't know if it's going to happen, guys, because I think DeMarco Murray is really set in stone on the guys he has. And Now, lately, with James Peoples, start to been some buzz of him leaning towards Ohio State, which I do, in fact, believe that is true. Now, I think that we heard that a running back has tried to commit to OU several times, a high-level running back. I actually do believe that guy was James Peoples, and I think DeMarco Murray told him no, to hold it off, make sure, because I think the two guys he's mainly focused on right now is Caden Durham and Xavier Robinson. I think those are going to be his first two takes because when you need a guy like Xavier Robinson up at Carl Albert, I believe, um, just those pipelines you can build in the state of Oklahoma, you're going to need those, especially with how loaded the 2025 class is for Oklahoma. Holy cow. I mean, that's a whole nother talk for another day, but that's just filled with elite prospects. And then Caden Durham, originally out of Moore, Oklahoma, plays at Duncanville, runs like a 10.26, something like that, 100-meter dash, can absolutely fly. The dude can fly, one heck of an athlete. I think he's only like 5'8", 5'9". Kind of reminds me of Deuce Vaughn, I'm going to be honest. I mean, OU fans will know about Deuce Vaughn. Yeah, he was not fun to play against. And then you have a guy like Devon Mitchell who took a visit to OU, then decommitted from Georgia. Just an incredible player. I do actually expect him to be the other back in OU's class if James Peoples decides that he's going to start leaning towards Ohio State. But right now, with my gut feeling, I think the three running backs are going to be Xavier Robinson, Caden Durham, and Devon Mitchell. And then next, the wide receiver room, guys. I mean, Bryant Westco went all the way up to a 5-star recently the other day, number 9 player in the country, and holy cow! Like I know that that a lot of recruiting guys have said that they thought Westco was going to rise, but they did not. They did actually expect them to get close to 5-star status, but no one expected the number 9 player in the country. And I mean, he's out of Midlothian High School, which I don't think that's a very big school in Texas, but I mean, he's really starting to show out in 7-on-7 and at camps and stuff. Starting to get his name out there. And this is a guy that this is all Emmett Jones, all OU written all over it. And this is the chance for Emmett Jones to really make his statement. Like, just show why he's that dude. And I don't know if you guys watched this post-practice interview the other day, but just the way he talks, he has a Brent Venables guy written all over him. I mean, he's got that mentality, he's all about relationships, got that dog in him. And I really do like what Emmett Jones is going to do. And also there was a crystal ball today by, I think, Josh McCuistion for Zion Kearney. Now, that kind of came out of nowhere to me. Don't really know much about Zion Kearney's recruitment right now. Yeah, I can't really speak much on that because there hasn't been much really buzz for him. I mean, it's mainly been Bryant Westco, Isaiah McMorris out of Bellevue High School. He actually hasn't gone up to OU yet, but I do expect that to happen soon. And actually, he's from the same high school as Caden Helms, is fun fact. And Zion Reagans as well. He's a really fast, speedy guy. He's a guy OU's been after pretty hard on, but Zion Kearney, after you see that from Josh McCuistion, I wonder if we'll see any more from guys like Brandon Drum, Parker Thune, even Steve Wiltfong, Nick Harris. So we'll see if there's anything that comes out on him. And then you have the defensive line room, which is what everyone wants to talk about. David Stone, Williams Nwaneri, Nigel Smith, Xavier Sims. And actually, Xavier Sims tumbled all the way down from, I think it was like 46 to player 118 in the country, which the reason why that happened is because he does not do camps, okay? That's why he's going to fall, and he's even said that just like he just doesn't do the camps. He doesn't like to do that stuff. And, the only player in the history of recruiting that hasn't done camps that had their ranking affected is Arch Manning. And Arch and On's real. That's all I'll say on that. And Williams Nwaneri, obviously, is a guy that OU's been very high on. He recently got back from Georgia and said in his interview, or whenever he's talking about Georgia, you can see why they win national championships now. I'm not sure if Georgia will get the last OV from him because the 4 will be OU, Missouri, Tennessee, and Oregon. I think it will be Georgia or Colorado that will get the last OV from him. Yeah, I think OU still leads in that race. I think, just like I said in the last recruiting video I did, that once OU kind of gets the lead on that, it would be harder for them to take the lead than to maintain the lead when they got it. And I think they do have the lead. I really do like where they stand with Williams-Nwaneri. Now, David Stone, him and Michael Patterson McDonald visited OU and Michigan State last week. I actually do think the David Stone to Michigan State buzz will start to die down, and we'll start to see it more towards Ohio State because he's really starting to show social media love towards Ohio State. And just like I said before, the David Stone recruitment, he's kind of like a prima donna, not in a bad way, not in a negative way, but he wants his brand out there. He wants the attention. You're going to hear about a new school every month, but the common factor in this will be OU. And I actually think possibly why he couldn't be committed to OU right now is because there's some family. I know that his mom, in fact, does not want him in the state of Oklahoma. Does not want him staying in the state of Oklahoma. She wants him out of here. I don't know why. I guess they must like the life in IMG. And also, he's visiting Miami, I think. Or I don't know. I think he already did go to Miami this past weekend. Really, I do think Miami will get in this race. I mean, you look at it, Miami, NIL, money for days. I mean, yeah, that's all I need to say on that. But next is Xavier Sims, who actually felt on Thomas player 200 in the country. And I know Hunter, he likes to hear that because he's not the biggest fan of Xavier Sims. But I still think Xavier Sims isn't a bad player. I mean, I still think he's worthy of top 300 ranking now. He does need to show more on film his senior year because his film's not been that impressive. I actually have gone back and watched it now. Not too impressed with what I've seen, and obviously he must shot at camps in 7-on-7. I do think he'll probably end up a Sooner in the end, but it kind of is just in this defensive line room. I mean, you have edge guy Ja'Shawn Ross out of Missouri, very high rated guy. I think he's top 200 in the country. I could be wrong on that. And then also the edge, Zena Umeazulu. I think I've talked about him. I don't really know where OU stands on that. Colin Simmons, don't even focus on him. OU's not in that race. I don't think he was. I don't know how much he actually ever wanted to even come to OU. He's more of like a Texas, Alabama, Georgia guy. It's the kind of guy he is. No, that's nothing against him. I just don't think he's a culture fit at OU. And then you have a linebacker, Sammy Brown, 5-star, planning to come up to OU for the spring game, I believe it is, with Justice the Sooner Surge has plans of being at the spring game. And yeah, it's really, I think Brent Venables can actually do this with Sammy Brown. Now, a couple months ago, whenever I saw, okay, there's a 5-star linebacker coming up to campus. So what? It's a 5-star linebacker. OU has historically not gotten 5-star linebackers. I mean, I think the last guy was Caleb Kelly, and there was some debate whether or not OU should have actually stuck him at defensive end or not for a while. But I do think OU is legitimately in this race. I would honestly call him second right now, probably behind Clemson, honestly. That's my gut feeling. I think it's very, very close. And I think OU has a chance at the spring game to actually take the lead for Sammy Brown because you guys know historically, Brent Venables, he recruited – I know Sooner fans, I don't know if you guys will really remember this. It was just from this last recruiting cycle, but Tassili Akana, OU was all the way up into it. And actually, from the story I read, OU felt like they had that recruitment won, so they kind of just lightly had gone after him for the last 2 weeks, and Texas was all over him. And Texas was actually able to win his recruitment, and that was a Brent Venables target. And I don't think Brent Venables will make the same mistake with Sammy Brown. Just if you can get a guy like this along with Peyton Pierce in this class, that is just absolutely Brent Venables' specialty written all over it, along in this 2023 class with guys like Lewis Carter and Samuel Masigo, Phil Picciotti, just an elite class, really. OU has a chance to build it in the linebacker room. And defensive back, Kobe Black, OU actually starting to make a push there. I think they've actually gotten into his top 5 now from some things I've been hearing. It's good to know, because I really was not bought in on OU and Kobe Black because I don't know the last 5-star cornerback OU got. It's probably has been a long time, and you kind of will have to see it to happen. Really, I think OU could get an OV from him. That'd be nice. And obviously, there's schools like Texas, Alabama, Georgia. They're going to be all over him. He's out of Waco, Texas, if you guys don't know. But I do think if Jay Valai and Brandon Hall tag team this recruitment, they could give him a lot to think about in OU. Because we saw the way they were able to sell campus in the 2023 class about how they're building the future of OU through the defensive backs. And if you guys have seen, looking at this year's roster of defensive backs, it's a complete overhaul in a very good way. A lot more talent, a lot more depth, much needed stuff that happened. And now I guess we can talk about tight ends. Devon Mitchell, guys. Oh, there's been a lot of buzz about him wanting to reclassify a lot, and I believe that is true. It has been said by multiple recruiting guys that he wants to reclassify. And obviously, a lot of people want to know that. Why would he be considering OU? Well, it all comes down to Michael Hawkins, man. Him and Michael Hawkins are best friends. And he even said recently in an interview with Don 3 that OU's number one in his recruitment, which is wild to think because a 5-star tight end. I mean, you look at OU has been able to produce some good tight ends really without them being 5 stars. Like Mark Andrews, Grant Calcaterra. You just saw Braden Willis this last year. Even you look at Blake Bell now in the NFL and the Chiefs. I mean, he's been on their team consistently. I mean, you just look at what OU's been able to do with tight ends consistently. We even have heard a lot of buzz already in spring about Austin Stogner. I mean, I think OU really is going to get back to being one of the top schools in the country for tight ends. And whenever you bring in a tight end like that of his caliber, you've seen what Georgia's done with Brock Bowers since his freshman year. That's a good comparison for Devon Mitchell. He can really do everything. Split out wide, line up in line, block, do the dirty work. He's a dog. He's a dude at tight end, and there's not very many of those nationally year in and year out. And then O-line, I need to do some more digging on this, I'll be honest, but Kane Massey is a guy who's on campus this weekend. 3-star, I think he's out of Missouri. It could be it's Missouri or Texas. I'm not completely sure. But just absolutely a massive human, like 6'7", 310, tackle, just kind of like a Logan Howland, just a massive dude. I mean, you look at really, I think over this 2024 class and the 2025 class, we are going to see a mean Bill Bedenbaugh on the recruiting trail like we haven't seen in a while. A guy that is really just different. I mean, we talk about Bill Bedenbaugh's developed the best of the best year in, year out. Even look at this last year. Anton Harrison and Wanya Morris are both going to get drafted. I mean, Lane Johnson, Trent Williams, 2 best offensive tackles in the NFL. Who were they coached by? Bill Bedenbaugh. Best center in the NFL, in my opinion, Creed Humphrey, coached by Bill Bedenbaugh. I mean, 3 of the best linemen in the league all coached by Bill Bedenbaugh. Why would you not want to come play for the guy? Yeah, and now I'll talk about a little bit of spring football. I mean, guys, a couple guys to buy stock up on. One, Austin Stogner, guys. I'm telling you, it's not too late to put in your money, go to Vegas, whatever, create an Austin Stogner share in the stock market. Us, the Sooner Nation, put in your stock to Austin Stogner. The dude is going to ball out this year. There's potential he could be the second leading receiver on this team. That's how high. There's been nothing but glowing things coming out of him from training camp. He looks the best ever. He came back from his injury, which he almost died from, which was very scary. I mean, he's got that Schmitty built mentality in him now. He's used to playing against the SEC competition, which will help him a lot in the Big 12 because the competition's not as good. And I do think Austin Stogner will really ball out this year. The next guy to buy stock in is R. Mason Thomas, guys. This dude, he's up to, I think, is 239, 249 now, something like that. But I think he'll start at defensive end day one. I mean, dude is going to be so good. He was the best pass rusher, in my opinion, on OU's team last year out of the edges, and he's just a true freshman. You look at the weight, the power he's been able to gain. I mean, he even said it in his post-practice interview. Like, he just the much more power and physicality he's able to play with at the point of attack. Speaks to everything that Schmidt's done with them. And I think we have a chance to be talking about R. Mason Thomas and PJ Adebawore by the end of the year being your two starting defensive ends, and that's going to wreak havoc in the SEC year one, guaranteed. And then I'll say one more guy that maybe I believe you should buy stock in. I don't know if others will, is Key Lawrence. We really have heard, last year, the thing he was lacking was really the seriousness, the film study. We've seen the talent. We've seen the plays he can make. I mean, let's talk about the last 2 years against Kansas. You've seen he looks like an All-American out there. He's tearing it up on the field, making play after play after play. I mean, we saw it against Iowa State 2 years ago too. Just he flashes so much, and now I think he's really, from things we've been hearing throughout camp, is that he's starting to put it together consistently in the film room. Practice habits better, eating habits better, sleep schedules better, taking workouts more serious. Really, really bought into what Brandon Hall and Brent Venables are trying to preach to this defense. And honestly, I mean, I think it was first time in the post-practice interview where we got to hear Emmett Jones talk to the media that I know of. Could have been second. I could be wrong on that, but I love the dude already. I mean, just Brent Venables guy written all over him. Just great dude, genuine. You see the recruiting relationships he's already built. He already had built. He's going to be able to develop the elite talent. He even compared Jaleel Farouk to Kiki QT, which is a guy who's had a long NFL career. I think he's still in the league today on the Texans, if I remember correctly. But, I mean, you just see it. I mean, Emmett Jones, fantastic hire. Early expectations for him. I mean, we're kind of come in, build relationships with the players, develop them, be good on the recruiting trail, but not great yet. But you also have seen he's going to be great. He's going to get Bryant Westco, 5-star, number 9 player in the country. I mean, who would have said that? If you told me Emmett Jones year one was going to get a 5-star, I'd be like, that's incredible. But yeah, thank you everyone for really tuning in today to the Sooner Surge. If you guys haven't, go follow all of our Twitters. Go check out Surge Sports Network. We've been uploading daily content on there, writing articles. We've been covering March Madness on our recent podcast, which has been wild to watch. Yeah, thank you everyone. And if you haven't, hit the like button, subscribe. We'd even like you guys to comment, show some interaction on our videos. Thank you. Peace.